the more you learn about a medium, right? And the more you learn about techniques or possibilities, then you just start to go like, oh, I want to bring it all into this piece. I want to add it. I want to like put it all in here, but it's not, you have to kind of compartmentalize and go, this is good for this, and this is good for this. And the more you sort of understand what the actual techniques can do and when to use them, and these are not like set in stone, these are individual preferences, right? Then you can kind of, what I call kind of like make a cohesive style, right? And I'm constantly changing my work too. I mean, I've never been like the Elizabeth Messina of, encaustic painting. I've never been like,
oh, I don't know her. Let me write down her name.
She's not an encaustic painter. She's a photographer. But what I always,
I
always talk about her. Well, I always talk about her because she basically figured out a formula of a way of taking pictures and she just basically repeats the same thing every single time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not me. Like, that's just not me. Like, I might do that more with photography. And I do find, in a way, like, I even did a shoot Monday night and I was like, all right, let's just totally be different. Let's be different. Let's totally be not myself. And at the end of the day, guess what? I made the same photo that I make every time. Right? And so it's like a pretty girl, with her head like this and chin up, her eyes closed and the flowers everywhere. And it's just like, all right, you know what? That's it. That's what I do. This is what I do. Right. So then when I get back to the studio, I'm like, all right, what can I do with this? Right. And again, like, one of the most helpful things for me in the last couple of years has really been this thing of like tricking myself. And the way that I trick myself is I make multiple prints or copies of the same thing. And I just don't allow myself to slow down and stop. I just push myself into like compact, intense artwork, and then I walk away. It's kind of like forcing yourself to throw up. It's like literally, no, I'm serious. You literally go like boom, 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 paint, leave. Like, and it's a little bit like, I'm sure athletes are like that, or like performers where they're like, they go through their prep, all the things they need to do. And then guess what? It's showtime. You go on, you do it, and then you're done. You walk away. And whatever happened, happened. So I think too, because we're like intellectual people, if we take too long during the process, especially with encaustic, which for me, it has to be just intuitive, impulsive, in the moment, action, reaction. I can't just like dilly dally and nitpick.
And that's where my issue is right there. I look at it, and then I'm like, I scrape it back and I go back and I redo.
So this is what I really want you to do, is I want you to make a collage, make a collage, right? And if you and make a couple, right? And so even if you make, like, if you love a bird, if you want to make different collages for the same bird, that's fine.
That's what I've done.
Pick one collage, and I want you to either scan it or photograph it. And then I want to like paint that one. I just want you to paint that same collage like 3 or 4 times. And when you do these types of exercises, you're doing them like small, like 8 by 10.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, and the reason that we're doing this is like, you don't want to waste $500 on these like learning exercises. And a lot of times they're great things can happen, from them, right? So like, for example, like when in April, I took one photo and I printed it like 10 times upstairs, same photo. And it was like a really simple photo. It was basically like a girl's hands holding a bouquet, right?
Oh, and I saw that.
It was like nothing special. right? But I mean, it was a nice photo. It was good. It was nice. And then I collaged it. I painted it straight up. I put gesso on it. Every one I made differently. And while I'm doing it, I don't even think about it. I don't even think, I just am in the moment, totally in the moment, right? Whatever colors happen, whatever brushes I have, whatever tools I pick up, like I really try to take myself out of that space of like insecurity. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going to happen. All of those places that we're in a lot now with our lives, like I don't want to be there when I'm painting. I know. So I just do it. And then guess what? I put them all on the floor, like, or whatever. I just put them there. And then I just leave the studio. Right. And then I come back and I go, oh, well, which ones do I like? I photograph them. I re-photograph them. I look at them on the computer, like out of the studio. Which ones do I like? And then maybe like I look at one and I go, oh, I kind of like a lot of parts of this, but like this area I don't like, Yeah. But I feel like there is, and because you have experience with wax, it's all the more reason where you need to kind of transcend your relationship with it to trust and instinct and intuition and positivity, and forget about all those things that you even just mentioned to me about not knowing, because you do know, and you do probably have a style, right? And you do probably have preferences of what you like and don't like with the wax.
Definitely. I definitely do. I definitely have my preferences. And I mean, I know that my major preference is just that translucency.
Right.
Here in Miami, like practically nobody's doing any encaustics. I was really excited to discover through you that there were some girls over in Naples, Florida doing encaustics. And that's 2 hours from my house. And I'm
Sherry and Madeline.
I have to look up their names, but it's just because here, I started teaching basic encaustic classes away. And I'm like, I read and nobody here is doing it, so you never get to see anybody else's work in person.
And they have a group. They have an encaustic group.
Yeah.
You should totally join them. Do you have their information? I have both of their information. I can email it to you.
Yeah, oh my God, you would love that. That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, I told them. I said when COVID's over, I'm totally coming down there to Florida, especially in February.
Do.
Yeah.
I'll
come down there.
Come. I've got an extra room in my house. You can come to Miami for a quick visit, and I'll show you around and we'll have some fun.
I would love to. I love Miami.
It's a lot going on here, that's for sure.
Yeah. No, you guys have a really interesting culture there. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's like this.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I definitely get caught on, I definitely, for somebody who really likes translucent thin layers, I really want to see my photograph. If I have something down, I want it to appear somewhere.
Yeah.
When I get thick or I get too opaque, then I'm not happy. So then my scraping back starts. The piece that I worked on while we were together the last time, that went totally in the wrong direction for me because I wasn't focused, I wasn't calm, I was just sort of in this flustered moment. I've scraped that thing back 3 times and worked on it, and I'm like, you know what? You're out of my life. I'm not dealing with you anymore.
No, I love that collage. Wait, let me see what it looks like. I want to see it. Let me see it.
And then I'll show you because I have worked on that bird. Mm-hmm. I have worked on that bird before. Look, this is one collage that I did for that bird.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you can see any sort of details and texture in it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, but you know what? You're all in the, like, you're all in translucent. You're all in wax medium whites, black and whites, right?
Yeah, it was really simplified, you know. And
yeah, and okay, so if you have enough waxy texture there, if you wanted to color it, how could you color it?
You know what? I kind of don't even want to color it anymore. It's done.
Well, right, but if you did want to color it, how could you color it?
Well, I would, you know, now see, there's one thing. For me, sometimes I wonder if the pan pastels are too opaque.
Well, but they can be repeated. They can be repeated and repeated and repeated. They can be layered and be more intense. And we can talk about that as a technique. So they can be put on, fused in, put on, fused in, put on, fused in, and then guess what? They're gonna get strong. You know?
Yeah. Sometimes I find them too strong, I think, you know? So I think that's when sometimes when I need to, like, if I want to tone an area, then I'll reach for the pan pastels, and then suddenly everything that was underneath it is gone.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so sometimes I guess I reach for the wrong, like, maybe I should have taken a pigment stick instead of the pan pastel.
Right.
You know, that happened in this piece that I worked on with you.
Right. You know what?
This is it. This is where I have it. Like, I scraped back down here to see those little palm trees that were down there. I sort of redid this here. I tried to bring more yellows in there, but I got mud happened in here. And then
but I'm going to disagree with you. Like, I think this piece is actually really kind of interesting and beautiful. I feel like the area behind the bird that we talked about, like around the beak and behind the head, should just be lighter. Like, so what happens is when you put so many colors, you have to go back to what we know about, like, light, you know, and what we know about sort of like glowy. I always think of it as like that glowy, like when you're in the garden or the woods and the light is coming from behind and it's like pushing through the obstacles and coming out in light. So you could just go with a nice white pan pastel or pigment stick all over that nice orangey color, and you can lift it. So you don't need to remove it.
A white pan pastel over that?
You can do, white pan pastel or white pigment stick and really just totally lighten it. Like literally put the light on the top as if it's coming from behind. And then,
this area in here just became, you know, I threw so much stuff at that.
It's mud. It's mud. So what I think too is that I think that plant stencil is too obvious. It's too cookie cutter.
Yeah.
So what I would do is add more of them, more stencils, more in that same tone, and then do a translucent layer of wax over top so that it's not so up on in your face. You know, soften it and make it look more like dreamy, like it's layered in there. So if you want, we could work on that. I think that piece is beautiful. I do. I think it has a lot of potential, and I think we can work on it.
Thanks, but.
And you know what? Hey, you know what, Andrea, you know what? Seriously, there's something. Okay, so if you, I think it's hard. I think it's hard because we're not together. Because if I was there, and I don't like to do this. Like, I don't like to go into an artist's piece and take over, but
touch it.
But I could, you know, begin to move it for you in that direction. But what you could do, and this is actually something that I'm trying to do with another student, is you could take a picture of it with your iPhone or your camera. You can email it to me, that picture, just that piece, and then I can work on the photo as if I'm working on the surface. And I don't have that same stencil, but I could do another kind of show you what I mean and give it back to you. Does that make sense?
I see what you mean.
Because I think that there is a gap between what I call visual vocabulary and verbal vocabulary.
Yeah.
So it's hard to always articulate. It's hard to always articulate exactly what you're trying to say, you know.
Yeah.
But like, we can work on translucent glazes, which I think is one of my favorite techniques right now, because I do find that translucent glazes in shapes, like creating almost what happens if you do a translucent glaze around like even the outside edges is it goes back to what we know about photography and vignetting, and it kind of like softens the sharpness of material that you have applied and allows other places to be more focal point. So if you made like a circle stencil, cut a piece of paper, make a circle, and put it over the bird, over the branch, and you did a translucent glaze, you know, over the outside edge, it's like adding a tilt shift. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because I think like when I go into my Instagram filters, one of my favorite, I always try, you know, all the different filters, and then I try black and white and color, then I try adding more contrast, and then I go to the tilt shift. And what I like about that is that it, you know, you are able to like kind of blur, right? So if we think about translucent glazes, we're able to sort of blur parts of the encaustic that are maybe too not working or too sharp.
Too strong in there. Yeah.
So wait, what would be the best? What do you want to do today? Do you want to work on that one? Do you want to send me a picture of it in our next meeting? We work back on that one. You need a break from it?
Yeah, I definitely need a break from it. I did go ahead and glue down that one. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Okay, so do you want to paint that one? I love it. Now also, can you do me a favor? Before you start painting it, can you take a picture of it?
Oh yeah, we need to take a picture. I'm a little behind in my picture taking.
Okay. So
yeah, I'll go get my camera and I'll take a picture of it.
Or my phone. Your iPhone. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, let me go find it. It's in the other room real quick.
Okay, grab that. Let's get that done and out of the way.
Okay.
Okay. So
that's done.
Okay. So, and what I would really like to see you do this week, no, this is for real, is I want you to print. You have a printer at home, right?
Yeah.
And I don't really care what, I mean, these are like practice things, but something funny happens to me sometimes. And that's like when I do these like practice things, like I make some of my best work, right? Because again, you're almost tricking yourself, right? So we all have this thing called like ego, right? And like our perfect vision of what everything's supposed to be. So in a way, you're not only wrestling with material, the encaustic, but you're also wrestling with yourself. You're wrestling with your self-doubt, your insecurities. You're not being good enough. You're not. It's not perfect. It's not exact. It's not blowing your socks off. It's not, you know.
Oh yeah, this is very connected to my identity. All of this work. This is me. This is who I am.
Right. So
when it doesn't come out.
Right. But one of the things that is part of our identity with the wax is that we love its fragility. We love its impermanence. We love that we can't totally control it. Right. So those are the things that we have to constantly remind ourselves is why are we bothering with this? Like we could just be photographers and do some Photoshop filters and some kombucha, whatever corners, you know, remember that shit? Like, but that's not us. We want original artworks. We want to put our hands in it, right? So again, like our actions, and this is something I learned, like, this is like the best thing I probably learned in all of my education was this one painting teacher that I had in graduate school just said, you know, perhaps it's your weaknesses, you know, that are your strengths. So like my weaknesses are that like I like to work quickly. I like to sometimes even work messy. I like to work carelessly. I like to work on multiple pieces. I like to move around my studio, you know, so, okay, so those are my weaknesses, but they're also my work habits. They're like, that's what I do. So at a certain point, I gotta go like, yo, this is who I am. This is my nature. This is what I make. And then like, how do I hone in on that and make it good? Like, the best, worst of, you know, the best of me I can. So you need to kind of like, if you like those clearer, lighter colors, not so much heavy opaque encaustic, great. Like, you know, you could keep a list in your studio of things that you know that you like, right? And then there's no reason why you just can't, you just do those things, you know? Like, I don't know, this is actually, can you see this piece?
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Right. So, but like for me, like I could make these pieces all day long. And you know what's ironic about this piece, like being on my table this morning, is it reminds me exactly of your piece. Look at your piece.
Which piece?
The one right
this one?
You. Yeah.
It's very similar, isn't that funny?
They're like compositionally, they're similar. Tonally, they're similar. So there's, and this was a really successful piece. I mean, I sold this before the show opened, right? I mean, you know, and then you're like, okay, so I could do these all day long. Like, I know how to do this. Well, why don't I? So maybe I should. I mean, it's fine, but I'm often trying to like go into unfamiliar territory. So let's just talk about how I did this. Okay. So one of the things that I did is I made a collage like yours, but then I burned it. I burned the paper with the heat gun, with the torch before I painted it. So do you see like all of these lovely like brown tones in here?
Let me get real close to you here with my glasses on. Yes.
You see all those lovely brown tones in there?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so those were all created with fire. So I kind of I crisp the edges. I crisp the edges of where the papers go. So if that's something that interests you. If that's something that doesn't interest you, there's other ways to add brown tones or tones to the paper. One of the ways is watercolor paint, right? Or walnut ink. Have you ever used either of those materials?
You know what? I have used some ink, but I don't think I recall walnut ink.
So walnut ink was actually recently given to me by one of my favorite encaustic painters, whose name is Catherine Bevier. It is incredibly beautiful. So it also gives you those beautiful brown tones, and it looks like, you know, a wash. Like just a beautiful, like tea-tony kind of steamy, like wash.
Yeah. Okay.
So do you like those brown tones or do you not like those brown tones?
I like them very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
let's burn it.
If you want to do that to this.
Yeah.
You want to burn it?
I got my torch right here.
We'll go for it. Get it.
It's really interesting because I've never worked in this room before with my heat and my stuff like that. And I'm like,
it looks like a nice room though. I love it.
It's gorgeous.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
The thing about the brown too. So let's look about the thing about the brown is that I decided too that this side was going to be the dark side, right? And this side was going to be the light side. So why don't we do a simple thing like that with yours? So you could have the darkness from the bottom. I think the darkness for yours should come in the bottom.
From the bird side?
Yeah, the outside, I think the bottom, the outside edge of these flowers at the bottom.
The flowers or the leaf?
I think the flowers. I think the outside edges of the flowers should be dark.
All right, so you're thinking these are the outside edges.
Yeah, I think those are the ones that are going to be the easiest to burn. And then I think you could burn underneath the bird a little bit.
Okay.
To kind of ground him into that area.
Let's see if you can see. Let's hope my soup can holds the iPad, my husband's iPad.
So is
Oh,
it?
that's gorgeous.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's gorgeous.
It's beautiful. Outside edges of the flowers.
Wow.
And the other thing that I think is really important is that, again, you don't need like 50 colors in your paint.
Yeah, you know what, I mentioned to you the last time that, you know.
2 or 3 colors max is like enough. I mean, and honestly,
My fan on high. I don't want my alarm to go off, my fire alarm.
No, that's fine. No, if you just do a little bit, it's fine. Did you get a little bit of tonality? Yeah, I love it. It's fine. Oh yeah, perfect. Beautiful. It's awesome. Okay, now the other thing you could do is, do you have any colored pencils or watercolor paints? And if you don't have them today, it's fine. We can do a little bit of this next time we meet.
I have both.
Okay, so if you want to go, I love the orange. So for me, your color palette's going to be, this color palette is pink and blue. And that is something that I can consistently know I can do well, right? I know I can do pink and blue well.
Yeah.
So, and then I kind of use like these neutral, like peachy beigey colors, but I think you should go for orange and brown and black and white, and maybe either a little bit of blue or a little bit of green. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I also think I used a little bit of white encaustic wax.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't think I used it until like closer to the top layers.
Okay.
Okay, so if you wanted to use, what did you grab? Colors, hand paint?
Yeah, I have both there, but I was just thinking, if we put watercolor on there, are we gonna dry it or?
Yeah, it'll dry with your heat gun or your torch instantly.
All right, let's go for the watercolors. Got like a little thingy-majiggy here. The colors, let's see if I have a decent brush. That'll do. Oh, I'm gonna need to go grab some water.
Okay, take your time.
Right back.
Okay.
All right. So we're thinking orange, blue, black, and white. Is that what we said?
Yeah, but take it slow. Like not all those colors. Not all those colors at one time.
No.
So I would think more like just browns, and raw umber, and like you know, a little bit of like just a little washy, just washes. You're not like specifically painting shapes, right?
I have a pair of pliers up here. I'm gonna wonder, what do I have double up here as downstairs? Normally I work downstairs. So what I pulled out was more of I pulled out a umber.
Perfect.
It's a little bit more brown. You can see
perfect. So where would you embellish the, maybe a little bit around the outside of the leaves, a little bit maybe in the bird? I mean, where do you see it?
Yeah, like I would see the like maybe in these leaf areas in here. And
yeah.
Bring it.
Yeah, and not the whole leaf, just like an edge, like a tint. Like, did you ever do any Marshall Oils paintings?
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah. So remember those, like we just kind of like accented the art. We didn't really overpaint it. We just wanted there to be like, yeah, we just wanted a little bit of color glow, like a little bit of, yep.
I think I can have a little bit more pigment on that. I don't know if you can you even see what I'm doing?
Yeah, I totally can see.
I've never taken any painting classes, really.
No, but I think that photography is painting in a lot of ways. And I think when we paint our photos, we're learning. I think our photographs actually teach us, you know, because we go for like the light colors in the light areas. We learn about shape and form, you know. So maybe a couple outside edge areas. And I would stain like one of those letters, like just very lightly, you know, maybe in the, at the end, at the top of the panel, just a little bit of streaky brown somewhere, just so that that letter is separated off the background. Because like we talked about this last time we met, we really want, we want our layers to kind of be separate, right? Because they help us create like depth, right? So we want them to be, right now the letter and the background are the same tone of white. Yep, perfect. So you can just start to separate those, and maybe like a little bit of like, do you have any yellows or ochres?
Yeah.
I think you could safely put some yellow in there.
I had that stupid thing. Oh. A lot.
And this is like such a relaxing, like, I mean, watercolors, they're like so fun.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They really are.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit of yellow, like high, someplace high. Yep, like, yep, right there. And out, yep, perfect. Nice. Do you have a brighter yellow than that? That looks like mud.
Yeah, I do. It's actually, maybe I'll hold it up to you. It's actually quite pretty.
I love it.
I think I might not be putting it on strong enough. I'm
That's okay. This is
being a little apprehensive here with it. Maybe I should be a little bit stronger in the areas I'm seeing around the bird. And I like the yellow drip right under.
Hey, that looks nice. That looks so nice.
It really does.
It really does. And I feel like you're creating this like kind of like frame. So what's really like, let's really enjoy what's working. The same things are working for yours that worked for me in this one. And what I find is that the quiet, oh my God, it's beautiful. Holy smokes, like gorgeous. Okay, so like the same, oh my God, I feel like we're like soul sisters. Look at this, Andrea. I feel like we're like soul sisters. So what's working for me in this one is the same thing that's working for you this one, is that there's this beautiful balance between quiet space and like content, right? So, and what I think people really enjoy is sort of like, you know, kind of like that balance between like action, quiet, you know, like it's like in music too, like you just don't want like the same rhythm or noise like blasted at you.
Bombarded constantly.
Right. So you want to be engaged, but you also want like quiet, gentleness, and da da da. Okay, so let's stop with the watercolors. There's plenty of watercolors, right? So one of the good things is to know when to stop. So let's dry it with the heat gun. You don't need to torch it unless you want. Unless you want to burn it more, but take a picture. Yep.
I am going to definitely be on the pictures. They help so much. Let me get this guy away from my electricity. But I can't do it all this stuff here.
There you go. So you have to just dry it gently.
I wonder if I'm going to regret putting these orange. I don't know. I kept going back to these orange orchids. I was like,
no, I love.
But something tells me I shouldn't. But I was like, I'm going to do it.
No, I love the pop of color. I love it.
My poor cat's going berserk because normally when I'm in this room, she's like right on my desk.
Your cat.
And I had to banish her today.
Yeah, you don't want the cat jumping up. You don't want the cat jumping up into the wax.
Oh my God, she's out there just going.
So when you feel like it's dry, we're gonna start with our wax medium layers.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's good.
And we're gonna use a little bit of white encaustic paint, and we're gonna pick an accent color to the orange. So the accent color could be light blue. It could be brown it could be like ochre, because I know you like those colors. It could be light blue is like extra pale cerulean blue.
Yeah, I have some like this.
Yeah, I love that color. Yeah, I love that color. I love that color with the orange. So what I want you to do too is, so take a picture of your paints that you're thinking about using like on your panel as if you're like an interior designer. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's that baby poop brown.
No, let's not use that one.
That one,
and listen, if you don't have to have more than one or two encaustic colors. If you want to just do white and clear and blue, that's fine. You don't have to do a dark. Don't do a dark. Let's like stay away from the dark colors today.
Okay. I also have sort of like this really off white.
I love that color. Yeah, that's one of my favorite colors.
And I don't even know what that is anymore.
It could be the titanium, the unbleached. I think it's the unbleached white or neutral white.
Yeah.
I like those a lot. And I think you're gonna want some bright white.
I've got my bright white here.
Yep, okay, great. All right, so and you have a bunch of wax medium?
Yeah, I've got it all over here.
Okay, so you're just gonna start painting with the wax medium. You're just gonna put some nice.
Oh, I need to get a layer on here.
Yeah, or a couple. So while you're layering with the wax medium, you're thinking about what you want blurry and what you want sharp. So how you put the wax medium on and how many layers of wax medium, it's just like how much soft focus filter do you want? Do you want 1, 2, 3, right? Your maximum filter, right, to completely is like 6. So, I mean, remember when we used to use the soft focus filters?
Yeah.
So it's the same idea, right?
I think those orange flowers I might need to set back a little bit.
I agree. Well, they're just too sharp, right? So
yeah.
And also like, right, you can do your layers too. Like you can do the nice clean long brush strokes, or you can do shorter, zigzag, you can do curvy brush. Yep, exactly.
All right, I got that first layer on there.
Yep.
Give it a quick fuse.
Yep.
wow, some of the burned areas of my colored flowers, like with really dark.
They're so what? They're so dark.
I said some of the burned areas of the colored flowers went really dark.
I love
it. Nice though.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it kind of balances out the darkness of the bird.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's great. Okay, so now we need to figure out, you know, if you want to start adding any texture, if you want to build more blur. So look at the picture, picture and think about what. So right now when I'm looking at it, I'm finding that the text, I like the text behind the bird, but it's too sharp. It's too sharp.
Yeah, it is.
So they're like equal. And so you have to make one less important. So how are you going to make it less important? You've got to do some translucent glazing on it or some medium.
Yeah.
I would stick to your light colors. I wouldn't put any big area of blue on there or any big area of brown on there. So let's take a little. You could do the neutral white or the white, and let's make a very, very translucent glaze of either neutral white or white. And you might be better off with the neutral white because it won't be so shocking.
Okay. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I need to set these guys back. Do you think it'd be better to set them back with a neutral white or with more just a clear?
I think just clear wax medium. I mean, there's no limit to how much clear wax medium you put on there.
Yeah. I made up so much of that stuff yesterday.
Yeah.
I think I finally got all my brushes were so hard. I was like, man, I gotta melt some of these guys here.
And remember, you can take a piece of white scrap paper and really test how translucent that layer actually is.
Yeah, in fact, let me do that because I think I actually like working up here. It's like I suddenly have all my stuff near me. Or I have to run all the way up here to go get some paper.
And you could tint that white too. You could tint that white with a tiny bit of brown, right? Or and sometimes being really delicate in the studio and very gentle and feeling really lovely is nice, right? Like really soft and gentle.
Yeah, I like this actually.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that's really working for you with this collage is your positive and negative space that you created and how much openness and light you have. So it's such a light and airy piece. Yep. Beautiful. And so you can slowly, beautiful. You can slowly start adding that. And don't be afraid of going over the bird's head or over his beak because you can just remove that with the pottery tools. And you don't want to be like cookie cutter and cutting out around the subject matter. Like you really want those to be integrated.
Yeah.
I'd rather that there was like messy white on the bird and the collage.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He's gonna need a couple of
it's gonna need a couple of like paint over, scrape back, paint over, scrape back, paint over, scrape till it looks right. Yep, nice, good.
Yeah, it looks nice already.
Yeah, and now you're just like you're intuitively and like sort of unknowingly building texture, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and use up all that paint. Just use it all up. All the paint that you put on the palette, just use it up, every drop. Yeah. Go over some areas again. Yep, maybe one area just really thick or even like a couple little droplets or something. Yep, there you go. Good girl. Good. Okay, so now put that brush back on the palette and let that melt down. Leave that color there. Don't wipe it off and fuse it.
Okay.
Okay, now let it chill, right? Let it chill. Good girl. Good. Take it. Good, Andrea. Good taking the picture.
Yeah. I usually stick like whatever I use the next to it when I take my pictures. So I'm not like, what are you shooting a photo for?
Okay, now go grab some of your scrapey tools.
How pretty that looks.
I know, beautiful. So grab your scrapey tools.
All right, I'm working with this guy.
Not that's not this. No,
you don't think
pottery
a razor
tool?
blade?
What?
You think the pottery tool?
Yeah, and I think that razor blade's too big.
You do?
Yeah. Do you?
I tell you what.
Do you have
yeah, it might be too big for that.
Do you have little painter knives?
Yeah.
So pottery tool, no, not that type of pottery tool. Do you just have like a wood?
Yep, I've got this guy.
Yeah, that's what I want you to use. And I just want you to do some drawing. I want you to I want you to take out his beak, and I want you to maybe you're gonna draw, maybe drawing in the feathers, like just putting little lines in there, but don't take off a lot of that wet. It's good. That cream was nice. Maybe just clear his beak. So think about what you really want people to see, and
because I'm actually scraping back here. I'm not like engraving lines.
I think you should make some of the parts of the bird very sharp. So you're really going all the way back to the photo.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is our next coat is going to be another coat of wax media, right? So I always try to talk to people about the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it sounds so silly, but I came up with the peanut butter and jelly sandwich like last year, and I was like, bread, peanut butter, jelly, bread, peanut butter, jelly, bread, peanut, right? So it's like this really nice, like consistent rhythm of just encaustic techniques that work, right? And we know we all have had kids. We know that the peanut butter and jelly sandwich works. It does.
Oh man, my kids hated peanut butter and jelly. They killed me. I'm like, just keep trying it. It's like the easiest lunch in the world. Don't.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Don't do this to me.
Oh my God, you poor thing. You know what? Honestly, my kids. Honestly, I think I only got away with the peanut butter and jelly sandwich a couple times. I agree. I know, but I actually like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I eat it. Stick a banana on there.
Absolutely. So this what kind of work too is really enjoyable, and because you love the birds, right? And because they're also like endangered, like drawing with this tool and using this tool, it could have a lot of like symbolism and meaning for you, that you're kind of like, because I love when I was in 4th grade, I was in this thing in school called Challenge, which was like for nerdy kids, and I did archaeology. And this is still to this day like my favorite thing I ever did at school. So we basically had to create our own civilization with our own language and money, and then we had to like make all this stuff, and then we buried it in our school field. And then another school came and like unburied it and then tried to figure us out. Yeah, and then we had to do the same with them. So then we went to their school, we dug in their field, we unburied their stuff. But I do think in a way, like this sort of archaeological, like working on these layers, it sort of reminds me of archaeology, where you're like able to control like what you want people to see, and you're revealing stuff from underneath, right?
Yeah.
Especially the way we're putting it together, where we put the photo on the back. Now, some encaustic artists like
underground.
Yeah, it's the underground, and then what's coming up from underneath, right?
Yeah, it's actually turning out kind of interesting because parts of him are really soft.
Yeah.
This bird nested in my garden.
Oh.
This was amazing. The story. This was like a 3-week ordeal. Wait, 3 weeks with the chicks, maybe. I mean, it's looking really good, I think.
Yeah, I love it. Beautiful. Okay, so our next layer is going to be encaustic medium, just a clear glaze of encaustic medium. And again, we're focusing on blending hard lines, right? And we're also, right, so you really want those orange flowers.
Yeah.
You want those orange flowers to kind of go back. So let's do one more layer of wax medium.
Okay. You think over the whole thing or just over the flowers?
No, always selective. Always where you feel like you want more blur or, you know, focus on where you want it to get blurrier and softer. So fuse that gently.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I want you to go, what do you think?
Looks really good.
Oh my God, I love it. All right, so now I want you to go to white. So I want you to think very carefully about where you want it to be. Where is the light coming from, and where can it be white, right?
Well, I think.
Or yeah. Or you could go. Okay, so I'm going to give you a choice. Or you can add a little bit of that. Were you going to add some of that dark brown?
You know what I have also? I have this brown pink. I'm not really sure.
Okay, so if you're going to use that, mix it with neutral white. It's beautiful.
Yeah, this brown pink, I'm a little confused as to what exactly is brown pink.
Honestly, it's the most beautiful color I think they make.
Really?
And yeah, mix it, but you have to mix it with neutral white. You can't use it straight. And it's honestly, it's honestly going to be really complimentary to your flowers.
Because it looks to me like perhaps I should make some shadow with it, do you think? Starting to sort of ground some of these areas here, maybe?
I think that's a great idea. So you're going to ground the outside, where the same side that you burned, and also maybe underneath the bird's tail at the bottom, and then a little on the right, like behind him.
Right in this area?
Yeah. Just, yep. A little bit there, a little bit at the bottom, and a little bit on the flowers. So brown, pink, and neutral white. Yep. Oh. And lots of wax medium, right? Mix them together.
I'm going to go for a smaller brush on this. So, you know, I could choose like a more, I don't know if I should go that textured though with that.
What? No, do it. I love it.
You think?
Sure, why not? And guess what? If you don't like the texture,
because that's what goes on in my mind.
I'm telling you, have to listen to your, you know. Oh, I love your spoon. I have to get that. I have to get a ladle.
It's a little, you know what? Just a little ladle.
Oh my God, I'm getting a ladle. I'm seriously.
Yeah. It's just the easiest thing.
Oh my God, look how beautiful that color is. Now you can add more neutral white to that, or you could even add more. Isn't that so pretty?
It is, but I'm wondering if this is going to look too orangey.
No, it's because you got the orangey in your flowers, and then we can always put a darker color on top of it.
Okay.
Just make it nice and translucent. And you can, yeah. Do you like it?
Yeah, I think I'll go for adding a little bit more of that area in there. All right.
So just lightly. No heavy lines. Yep, just lightly. Beautiful. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe.
Now,
I don't know if it's a little orange for me, I think.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna like it. So fuse it.
I did kind of like pick up with the orange. It does look nice with the orange of the flower though. Wow, we're already at 11 o'clock.
I know, time's fine. Let's go 15 more minutes. Let's go 15 more minutes.
Sure?
I want you to fuse that, and then I want you to put another. I want you to go for the white.
Okay.
And are you starting to feel like this is what I feel when I'm really, feel like I'm doing well with the painting? That I'm like weaving these layers together, right?
Yeah. I like seeing the blending and that I like seeing them like together, working together and not hiding anything. I like it a lot.
So leave that brown there. I kind of was hoping that you would use it all up, but it's okay. Do you have enough room on the palette to do white?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So do some bright white and get a clean brush. Now you could put a tiny little bit of that brown pink in the white if you wanted to have just a little bit of tint to it. But if you're not sure if it's that you love the color, don't do it.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that you're coming from the upper right corner, like at the end of his beak, white, and you're just like gonna do like a white wash. Nope, the other side.
Oh, you mean from this corner?
Yeah.
And you're thinking just a big white wash?
Just a white wash, and you're gonna go like we're weaving. So you're gonna even go over that orange flower at the top. I would just do that like almost like that whole side, that corner, that whole side. And what's nice about white, what's really nice about white is that you can do any other color over it so easily. And it really just gives you some nice like waxy texture, and it's very easy to manipulate. That's why I just love white. I love black too, but I love white. White wax, and I just think it's so beautiful. It's like milk.
Yeah, it is gorgeous.
And this layer could be a little bit more opaque. It doesn't have to be totally translucent.
Yeah, I think it needs to be just a little bit
I would go a little bit more on the opaque side for this.
Okay. I don't know if you can see my mixing at all.
No, I can. No, you're perfect. I can see right. Yep. No, it's perfect.
I'm so glad it worked out today
everything's been great. Oh my God, it's been so relaxing. It's been great. It's been beautiful.
Yeah,
I love the collage.
I was like a little stressed about today. I was like, oh, she's gonna think I'm this big wacko.
I don't think anything. I thought you were a hero. I thought you were really like a warrior. And it was hot. I mean, it was awesome. Okay, so I would go from the corner of the panel over into it. Yeah, that way. Yep. Outside in, not inside out. Yeah, outside in.
Towards the center?
Straight. I would go straight lines, outside in. Towards his. I want you to start to go. I want you to go over that text a little bit. I want you to go from all along that top.
You're thinking from this side in?
Yeah, but start at the top.
And all the way across or no?
No, not all the way. Just
all
right,
right, I get
right till you hit the penmanship. Yep, right till you hit there. Yeah, right there, right there. Yep, good, good. And then again. Yep, yes, nice. And then, yep, right up under that flower. Yep, perfect. And you could do.
I think I could have been just a tad.
Well, you can do a heavier stroke somewhere. Absolutely. Yeah. Nice. All right, that's enough. Yep, careful. All right, and then a little bit more at the top. One more at the top.
You think one more at the top?
Yeah, and what about just rather than a long stroke, what about a shorter stroke? Or what about just a texture? Do you ever just put the brush flat down?
Oh yeah.
Do it. Just make like brush just flat down on the piece. The brush. Yeah, just dab. Yeah, dab. Build some texture there. Some fun. Yep, nice. And then over the text a little bit. We want to soften the text. Yep. You can do that behind the bird's head a little bit. Yes, beautiful. Perfect. All right, that's enough. Good. Beautiful. Oh my God, gorgeous. Okay, so put that
This down here might need just to be a little blended. I gotta.
Okay,
it looks kind of funny.
Well, right, and you don't need that hard line at the end of the collage element. You just want to kind of blur.
Yeah, it needs a little something right there.
Right in the corner too.
Up here?
No, the other corner. Other corner.
Oh.
Yep. Other corner. Bottom. Yep, right there. Good, good, good. Perfect. That's it. Okay, now fuse that. Wow, it's so pretty. And then you're gonna go back to that nice pottery tool. Okay. So you're going to go back to that pottery tool. And so you're going to really look at what needs to be dug up, right?
Okay.
What needs to come back from underneath? Right?
What needs to come back? Well, definitely like his beak area.
Yep. But I really, yep. But I really like, I would just pause on the flowers. Like, I love the way that they're coming from behind.
Yeah. I'm kind of liking the leaf here being stronger, maybe bringing out that leaf a little bit.
That's fine, but I think you need to balance out your wax. I think you should put some clear wax in that lower corner. I think some just encaustic medium glazes down there, just so that you have so it's not like naked. Yeah, it needs to be blended. So if you just do wax medium there.
Yeah.
So do you feel how like in a way today you've like created this sort of rhythm of like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, like peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Like I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna take it back, then I'm gonna add, then I'm gonna take it back. And it's really for you, right?
Yeah, this worked well.
I don't know if you were gonna add a stencil, but if you were gonna add a stencil, where do you think you would add it?
Wow. I'd probably bring it into this. I don't know, maybe somewhere here.
I would add it in the under this butt, like nope, the other corner. Yeah, I feel like if you were gonna add a stencil, you would add it there. And I don't know if you have something leafy, or if you wanted to make a stencil. And this is where you could make a stencil. So those leaves feel like they're like circular or almost like heart shaped.
Yeah.
So you could just take a piece of paper, right?
Yeah.
And you could just do a rough paper cut of like a shape that's similar to that. And then you could kind of just like add them with wax medium. You don't even have to commit to a color, right? But you could sort of add and create like, and this is where like I love to get out of my box of like having to use like store-bought stencils. And I like to make them like more personal and, you know, applicable to what I'm working on. So if I feel like I have circles or, and everything with nature really is like circular, oval, right?
Yeah.
Or a line, right? So you can make a nice little paper cut of a spade shape or a heart shape or anything kind of oval. And you can just kind of put down some wax medium circles around the base of the bird that are not literal, but they're gonna add texture and depth, right?
Okay.
And you're also gonna ground him and kind of like make a little like waxy nest for him, right? And then he can be kind of popping out and be more photorealistic.
Yeah.
And you only, listen, you don't have to commit to a color. You can do all of this just with wax medium. And then when we're ready, we can use the pan pastels or the pigment sticks to slightly color the wax medium, right?
Okay. I like it. I'm really excited about this.
Okay. Well, let's leave it for there. I want you to do me two things though. I would love to see you take that original collage that we started with today and print it.
Okay.
And I would love to see you just paint on the paper.
And just paint on the paper.
Yeah, and do like 2 or 3 with the same colors, with the wax medium, with the white, with the off-white, with the brown pink, right? And we didn't use the light blue yet, right?
Yeah.
But just those 3, and then really, where do you put them? Just like what happens? Like, also, are you gonna do the watercolor underneath? Are you gonna use sandpaper underneath? Like, what do you do to start out, and then just do your layers, make a couple. And you're also gonna send me a picture of that big piece.
Okay.
Right? I'm gonna print it out and I'm gonna paint it. Just for fun. I mean,
thank you.
I just think this is fun, and it's kind of like feedback. It's like, you know, an exchange. It's like, you know, because I can't be there with you.
I appreciate that, Leah. Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great. I can't wait.
All right.
So, all right. So send me those emails. I'm gonna send you the YouTube from today, and we have a date next Thursday.
I'll be here.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you.
Great job.
Bye.
Good job. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Beautiful work.